Hey guys, and welcome back to Tech Force. So today we're going to be taking a look at a budget drone, the Eachine E58. It looks just like the Mavic, but does it perform like one? Okay, of course it doesn't perform anything like the Mavic Pro. The only thing they have in common is that they both fly. But for only 30 quid, you're getting a pretty decent drone with all the features beginners need to start flying, and potentially move on to something like the Mavic Pro. So this drone's actually pretty easy to control, as long as it isn't too windy, and it also adopts an awesome foldable design, making it very compact and perfect to store away in your backpack, or even maybe your pocket. So you guys are probably wondering, what comes inside the box? What's the camera quality like? What cool stuff can this drone actually do? Well, don't worry, I'm going to answer all these questions just for you. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so first things first, what's in the box? Well, we're given the drone itself, the controller, a charging cable, the prop guards, 2 spare props, a screwdriver, and the manuals. So, it's quite a bit really. The only initial thing I'm not quite happy about is that there are only 2 spare props, and generally you're provided with at least 4 spares. But not to worry, just don't crash and you won't need them. Now the prop guards are pretty unusual and have a pretty unique design. They probably won't provide a huge amount of protection, but they're certainly quite cool and different. Now you may be wondering, why have we been given a screwdriver? Well, this is simply used to change the props, and it's quite handy and often given with budget drones. Okay, now moving on to another key feature which you're probably quite excited about. The camera. Now when it comes to a budget drone, you're pretty much always never going to find a good quality camera. You would have to spend at least £100 for a decent camera on a drone. So although they do work, they tend to be very blurry and very low quality. And unsurprisingly, this is exactly what this drone is. It records in 720p, but because the drone's always shaking in the wind, you never actually get perfectly smooth footage, and it can appear quite blurry like this sample footage does. So overall, the camera is actually about the same as any other camera on a budget drone. There is no significant difference. Now in order to record video and take photos, you need the app, and so you must be connected to the drone via some sort of mobile device. Then through the app you can click a button to record video or take photos, and these will automatically get saved to your device. Now, if you've inserted a micro SD card, you'll also be able to see the videos saved onto them, but a micro SD card isn't necessary. And while most of you guys probably don't have a micro SD card just lying around, so you can just have the video saved directly to your device. It makes no real difference. Taking a closer look at the app, this is called Eachine FPV, and it allows you to access all the features you can access through the remote, plus some additional things such as recording video, which you can't actually do through the remote itself. So the app is necessary if you're looking to record photos and take videos. And if you maybe wanted to explore FPV, where you can wear goggles and visualize the drone's surroundings from its point of view. But then again, the camera quality of the Eachine E58 isn't great, so FPV is almost useless. Okay, now earlier we briefly touched upon the flying experience, but there are still a few things that I need to mention. So this drone is capable of doing flips, which is pretty awesome, and this can be done by pressing down on one of the buttons and simply moving the joystick in the direction you wish to flip it. And you can also return to home, which didn't work perfectly, but it works to some extent. Honestly, you don't really need this feature. I haven't seen it in any other budget drone, and well, the drone will always be flying pretty close to you, so it should be easy to bring it back and land it. Then the last additional feature is headless mode. This allows forwards, backwards, left and right to always be in the orientation of the pilot, which is great, especially for beginner drone enthusiasts. Now this mode is included in pretty much every budget drone out there, but it's pretty useful and definitely worth knowing about. Now talking about all these different buttons to activate all these different features may seem pretty confusing, and well, with the Eachine E58 it is quite confusing. None of the buttons are labelled, so it's quite hard to know what does what, so you have to flick through a manual to learn more about the controls, which isn't great. Now, there are other drones within this price category that do have little icons to indicate what each button does, and that's very handy to quickly get up and fly, which is exactly what you want to do as a beginner. Okay, now when flying in pretty rough winds, this drone's able to cope alright. It will get pushed and thrown about by the wind, but it's maneuverable when put in its fastest speed mode, which is great, and not many drones around this size are able to fly in the wind like this one. So, now I just mentioned speed modes, which isn't something I touched upon earlier. So this drone has 3 different speed modes: slow, normal, and fast. Now, if you're flying indoors, slow would be the best to go with, as it's great to control, and of course there's no wind, so it's easy to control. But when flying outdoors, you want normal or fast, depending on the wind conditions. Now, this feature is included in pretty much most budget drones, so it's nothing special, but it's definitely very useful. Okay, now lastly we take a look at the design. So the Eachine E58 has foldable arms, which work perfectly to make this drone very compact and easy to take around. Although Eachine call it a pocketable drone, I wouldn't say it's perfect to carry in pockets, as it's a bit large, but it could certainly fit in most pockets. It just wouldn't be very comfortable. Now, the camera is able to move up and down, but this has to be done manually before taking off, which isn't a huge issue. And then overall, this drone follows a Mavic-like colour scheme and design, which is quite nice and very professional. Now, the controller is not too bad as well. It fits comfortably in the hand and has space to insert a mobile phone. However, this space isn't very big and would probably just about fit an iPhone X, which isn't good, especially considering the fact that mobile phones are a lot larger than they used to be. So in terms of the design, that's really the only drawback, and it is quite a big thing as well. Okay, so overall, the Eachine E58 is a decent budget drone. Does it stand out over its competitors? I would say features wise, no, but in terms of its foldable design, that's something which hardly any budget drones have, and certainly gives the Eachine E58 the edge that it needs. So, if you like this product and are maybe looking to buy it, go down to the description below and click on the link. And whilst you're there, remember to hit the subscribe button to stay tuned for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.